Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. 10 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, the 27th day of January, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, our frequency there, 103.3 FM. And if you're listening to my voice from anywhere else on the planet, you've gone to our website to tune in, ksje.com, or maybe you're listening through the new KSJE radio app. It is great to have you all with us this morning. Also want to welcome our viewers who are joining us. The video of this program is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So welcome aboard, everyone. Coming up in the next few moments this morning, my guests today from Bloomfield Schools, two guests from Bloomfield School District. We're getting an update on things going on in the district, so stay tuned for that coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then later on this hour, we will do what we do on Tuesdays, our Adopt a Pet Tuesday segment, checking in with Amber Francisco at the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter. She'll be telling us about some of the pets available for adoption this week, including Dean. That's the good-looking cat you see on the screen right there, so stay tuned to learn more about him coming up later on this hour, 8:50 on KSJE. Mick Hess will take over the studio at 9:06, Roving with the Arts. That's our weekday classical music program. And don't forget, you can check out KSJE podcasts. They're available wherever you listen to podcasts, so check it out and maybe discover a new local program that you may have missed. And also the KSJE radio app. It's available now on the App Store and Google Play. You can connect with us while you're on the go and stay connected with podcasts, streaming live, and much, much more. It is the KSJE radio app. We always tell you that visual radio can take you places. Let's take a look at the scene right now in New York City. They are ice skating in Bryant Park in Manhattan. A sunny day there, but the temperature right about 16 degrees in New York after a bunch of snow. You can see them shoveling there in the lower left corner. They are shoveling out after their big weekend of snow and enjoying some of the cooler temperatures. The high temperature in New York, by the way, today is only going to reach about 20 degrees. Back here at home in Farmington, it is currently about 17 degrees here in Farmington. We are expecting a sunny day today as well. Our high will be a little bit warmer, 38 degrees in Farmington, 21 overnight. It'll be partly sunny tomorrow with a high again of 43 degrees. And then, let's see, tomorrow after that, Thursday, sunny, 43 again, 44 by Friday, and overnight lows, as you can see right there, about the mid-20s. Back with my guests from Bloomfield Schools right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The most important ingredients to sustaining health and wellness are the resources and tools that help you live a vibrant and healthy life. At San Juan Regional Medical Center, the goal is to promote health by making sure those resources are available. Find the path to the best life at lifebetterhere.com. San Juan Regional Medical Center. Better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care. Ready to make a difference close to home? The University of Denver Graduate School of Social Work Four Quarters program is accepting applications for the 2026-2028 Master of Social Work cohort. Classes beat Fridays in Durango, letting you keep working. Learn more at du.edu/socialwork/fourcorners. Students can change the future with DU and apply now for lasting impact.
Now back to Studio A and the award-winning Scott Michlin morning program on KSJE.
Back in the studio this morning, as I mentioned, my guests from Bloomfield Schools. Welcome back to KSJE in the new year. Lynda Spencer is here, the superintendent of schools for Bloomfield Schools. Ms. Spencer, thank you for coming in this morning. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Glad
coming
to be
in.
here.
You also brought with you, who we just saw a second ago because I hit the wrong button. Dr. Julie Pierce is here as well. Good morning, Dr. Pierce.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
You are the district's Associate Superintendent of Federal Programs, so great to have you here as well. So thank you very much for coming in. And Ms. Spencer, we'll begin, I guess, by talking a little bit about your school board. You had some elections, of course, in the fall, and so a few new members to the school board in Bloomfield.
Yeah, we had 4 people were up for election. Cherie Snell is now our president. She's from District 3, which is out in the Blanco area.
Right.
She was actually appointed last spring, but then she ran for re-election. Ben Woody, he's our veteran member. He's been on the board for the last 4 years, and he just won his re-election bid. He's the vice president. He represents District 5, which is down in down south.
Okay.
Jenica Lance, she didn't run for election this time. She will run again in 2 years. She's in District 1, but she was appointed in October. Aaron Valdez, he's in District 2, which is in town, kind of on the other side of Highway 64.
Okay.
He ran. And then Bronson Ashcroft is in a member of District 4, and he represents like Sullivan Road and south that way.
That neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah, so we have a brand new board really, except for Mr. Woody. So we're getting a fresh start, and I'll tell you, we're going to be setting goals and
Right.
and moving forward with that. So
Gotcha.
we're real excited. We're meeting tonight about the legislative session coming up, just to see what we want to talk to our representatives and our senators about when we go next week. So.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, congratulations to all the board members. I know it's a big job, I think, and congrats for them stepping up, all the candidates for stepping up.
Yes.
And running for school board and in Bloomfield. You kind of take your direction from the board, if I understand correctly. I mean, they
Yeah.
are your boss, and so
I'm their only employee.
that's it. You're it, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so you'll be working with them, of course, as you talked about setting goals and things like that. You had a retreat a couple of weeks ago, maybe just a week ago, I guess.
Yeah,
huh?
so they were sworn in on the evening of the 13th, and I planned a retreat the next day, and so we met at a meeting room, and we hired a consultant to come in and guide us through those efforts, and we stayed there for all day. And the consultant just really helped us focus and decide what we're going to be doing for the next couple of years, because the work that we do is very important, and we want it to be focused on student outcomes, and we don't want any noise to get in our way. We want to improve student outcomes for Bloomfield school students.
Right.
And they're very committed to that. They responded well. They have a lot to learn, and so do I. I'm a brand new superintendent, and we have a lot of brand new school board members. So I think if we grow together and we focus on students, I think we're going to be successful.
Got you. I was going to ask you about kind of the reaction from the board about the retreat and things like that. Everyone seemed to be on the same page and working together, I guess, towards these goals that you have. I imagine more will come with the strategic planning and things like that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think they were very thankful, because when you get hired to a new job or you get elected to a position, you're not real sure what to do. And so this is going to help us focus our efforts. We're going to be setting goals over the next couple months. By August, we're going to have our plan ready. And you just set 3 to 5 goals, and they're SMART goals. And the SMART goal is student-centered, it's measurable, it's attainable,
Right.
it's relevant, and it's timely. So, if we set these SMART goals around student achievement, we'll be able to monitor those goals. So each board meeting, starting in September probably, we're going to pick a goal, and we're going to progress monitor that. We're just going to look at the data and say, are we meeting this goal? If we're not meeting this goal, then how are we going to adjust what we're doing to meet the goal?
Right.
So it's a continuous improvement model, which is what we do in schools, or what we should be doing in schools. So we're going to be doing it district-wide and with our board. And so they are aware of really what what we want our students to achieve. We're working, I talked last time about the graduate profile.
That's right.
What do we want a Bloomfield graduate to look like when they graduate from Bloomfield High School?
Yeah.
And this all ties together. You need to tie everything together, and you need to have a vision, and you need to have a focus so that you're just not, it'll help our spending as well, because a lot of times you have these large sums of money and you need to spend it, but you're not real sure what to spend it on. Well, it's all going to be based on our goals. So, if we're talking about math, we're doing a lot of math initiatives in the district right now. Our money's going to go toward math PD, math curriculum, math, developing teachers, maybe hiring more math coaches, or it just depends on where the discussion goes, but everything needs to be aligned. And
Sure.
if it's not aligned, then you're not going to get the results that you want.
Understood. That makes sense. And also, it's my understanding, too, that any new or even existing school board members get some training from the state. Do they offer some training, too, to help maybe them understand all these numbers and spreadsheets and things they'll be dealing with over their school board careers?
Yeah, they're required to get training. New board members have to have more than veterans.
Right.
And they offer these trainings through meetings that we go to. We went to a meeting
Sure.
in Albuquerque, the school board meeting in Albuquerque in December. And next week we're going to another one in Santa Fe so that we can meet with the senators and the representatives, and but they have intense training. They have sessions, and the board members can choose which session they want. But they have to have so much training in each area, and I'm not real sure what all the areas are, but roles and responsibilities, fiscal responsibility,
Sure.
role of the superintendent, role of the board, supervising the superintendent, evaluating the superintendent. There's just a lot of different trainings, but so they get to choose, and they sign in on a QR code. I've been in the business a while, so they used to have to sign in on these sign-in sheets, and
Right.
they'd have to get those sign-in sheets and give them their hours, which was a nightmare because with 89 districts
Sure.
and 89 boards, you can imagine that some names were left off the list. So now they can scan their QR code and they get credit for being at that training. So
Nice.
we have moved a little bit into the 21st century. Oh, thank goodness.
Good for New Mexico, right? Proud of our state. Exactly.
Yeah.
You sent a list too of some of the things you talked about at this retreat, I think, right? And so
Yes.
these are more of the specific things that you talked about with the board, correct? And that consultant that was here.
Yeah, and what's really it's changing the culture to be student focused, and I don't think that, we've always been focused on students in Bloomfield, but as far as the board goes, they were more a governance body, and they did what they had to do. They did their jobs, and they were great. I've worked in a lot of school districts, and I always thought the school board in Bloomfield was very professional. You're in and out of those meetings, and they did their job. I'm trying to get this board to think more about student outcomes.
And help them understand why that's so important, I guess, maybe?
Yeah, that's our only purpose, right, is to improve student outcomes. So, and help them understand what it takes to change outcomes in schools. It's not easy, it's very difficult, and just really aligning our resources to that. One thing that's going to be very important is getting community input. So we'll be having community meetings, the board will, just to get their input. We did that with the graduate profile, but just to see what the community wants from
Right.
the school district and the school board. So that'll be part of our goal setting.
Sure. I see that on the list. It says
Yes.
community listening, and so that's part of
Yes.
those things as well? Gotcha.
And then helping them understand the data, the assessment, because if you don't work in a school, you don't really understand all that. But just help them know which assessments we use, what assessments we're going to use to progress monitor, what the data means, and be very transparent. If we have a goal and we're not reaching it, we need to communicate that to the people, to the community of Bloomfield, and let them know what we're going to do better. How are we going to do better? And so that's how I want the culture of this board to be. And they're very open. I think they're ready to go. They're ready for guidance. And they set my guardrails, but I really do the driving.
Right.
They'll give me parameters, and I'll stay in those parameters. But as far as running the district and taking care of the day-to-day operations of the district, that's really my responsibility.
Sure.
But we have to work together. And I think if we do that, I think there are just really great things ahead for Bloomfield Schools.
Very good. Well, it's exciting, and thank you for sharing that. We were talking before we came on the air this morning that perhaps on one of your future visits you may bring a board member or 2 or 5
Yes.
along with you, maybe
I
on
would
one of
love
these
that.
visits. So.
I'm going to try in February. I'll have them clear their schedules.
Okay, we'll see if we can get a few in here. That would be
Yes.
great. But thank you for sharing that a little bit as well this morning. Here's another bit of data about the grades for the Bloomfield schools, and these come out for every district
Yes.
in the state. And so kind of interpret what we're seeing, I guess, on the screen for us.
So these are the school grades. The state is required by federal law to grade the schools, have some kind of grading system. And this is where we came in at Bloomfield Schools. So you can see that the first number there is our math proficiency. We are at 20% and the state is at 25%. Underneath you can see where the state is.
Right.
So we're below the state. So that's one reason that I really want to focus on math. The next one is, and down below is the math growth. We were in the 48th percentile in growth, and the state is 50th. So we're not where we need to be in math at all.
Right.
In reading, we're faring better. That number, 41% proficiency, last year we were only 32. So it's up, about almost 10 percentage points, which is
Right.
very impressive. So good job to the teachers in Bloomfield, the students for working hard. The state is 43%, so we're kind of right there at the state average. But our reading growth was 56th percentile and the state was 49th. So we outperformed the state in the growth. So that's promising. The next one is science. Science, we're at 32%, the state's at 35%, which is not anywhere near where we need to be. So we need to do some work in that area. That'll probably be one of our goals.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is our graduation rate. We are 84%, so that would include Bloomfield High and Charlie Y. Brown High School.
Right.
We are above the state average, but we'd really like to see that in the 90s if we could, That's really how a high school is graded, is on their graduation rate.
Sure.
The elementaries are graded more on their proficiency rates on the NMESA,
Right.
which is the state test the kids take. And then our attendance is dismal. 64% is bad. So, and Dr. Pierce will talk more about what we're doing to help attendance now, because she's in charge of that area and that grant.
Okay.
But we definitely need to improve attendance.
Gotcha. Well, and we look and see that New Mexico's is 71%, so
Yeah.
it's low as well, or
Yeah, and
not at where it needs to be.
Traditionally, we were in the 90s before COVID, but since COVID, it's been really hard to get that back up.
Sure.
So
Understood.
So we've done some things, and Dr. Pierce will talk to that. I will say that in the grading system in New Mexico, they have spotlight schools, if you're like in the top 25%, and then they have what they call traditional schools, which, you're doing pretty well. You're not a spotlight, but you're not in improvement status.
Right.
And I would like to say that all Bloomfield schools landed in the traditional last year. So we don't have any improvement from the state coming down on us. So I thought that was good. I'd love to be spotlight, and that's my goal, is to get
That'd be the next level,
some of
I
our
guess,
schools
right?
to spotlight.
Right.
But right now we're just kind of riding along. We're traditional.
Okay.
We need to do better, but we're not in the lowest quartile in the state. So
Gotcha.
So
And remind me, if you would, the abbreviation CCR.
oh, that's a college and career readiness.
Thank you.
So
So you're very close to the state numbers there.
yes, and we are working really hard to improve that this year. So I'm hoping that will go up.
Yeah, very good. And I was just going to mention again the attendance. The graduation rates of 84%. I mean, that's a great number. But on the other side of that, and every school district, deals with that. You've got 16% of kids that aren't graduating, and I
Right.
guess that's the focus.
That has to be the focus.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
for sure.
very good. Thank you for sharing that. Attendance, you mentioned the focus on that, and that it's important to get kids into school. I know a lot of districts are really focusing on attendance, and so this is something that Dr. Pierce can talk about a little bit, and some of the things. Dr. Pierce, welcome to the conversation, and thank you for being here. What are your plans around attendance for Bloomfield schools?
Absolutely. Good morning. One of the big initiatives we have is really making our climate welcoming, culturally sensitive, teacher and student relationships, building those so that students want to come to school, making curriculum and teaching and learning more interesting, more hands-on to the best of our ability. One of the things that we've done at this point is hire an attendance liaison with a grant that we were awarded through the state. And so what this individual does is obviously attend meetings for students who are having attendance concerns, as well as make home visits, try to find what is the barrier to a student's chronic absenteeism.
And I guess, pardon me for interrupting,
Sure.
but I guess that's the issue, right? Is that it's not maybe just missing a class or two every year, but it's maybe chronic attendance issues, or maybe missing a week of school or several
Absolutely.
days in a row. Is that kind of the thing
is it.
that this person will be working with these families about?
Yes.
Got it.
And whether, you know, I mean, there's so many things that could be going on with the family right now.
Right, sure.
We have a significant number of homeless students that are considered homeless through McKinney-Vento.
Right.
Over 300 out of a population of 2,300.
That's significant.
It is. And so, you know, it's not just a student not wanting to come to school, although we do have those that prefer to stay home and play video games, and wouldn't we all?
Right.
So again, just trying to make the environment, create an environment where students feel welcome, are valued, and can contribute. I mean, every student comes with a tremendous amount of gifts. And sometimes in traditional school settings, though, the gifts that they come with aren't valued. So trying to bring in student interests, valuing who they are, specifically trying to learn cultural assets and bring those into the classroom. So let's say for a Native American family, sharing, you know, stories, there are seasonal stories for our Navajo culture, you know, trying to bring in cultural leaders,
Right.
Artisans to make things interesting for all students. So again, just trying to build those relationships and increase students' attendance. Our goal is a minimum of 70, which isn't lofty, but we are setting plans to make things more welcoming for students.
Sure.
Another aspect we are doing is we are using an attendance app that is a early warning system as well. But instead of the phone calls, nobody wants those attendance phone calls. Parents see that phone number and they're not even going to answer. But it's an AI tool that actually texts families and makes it more personable. Like, good morning, we noticed that Johnny's on class today. Everything okay? And those kinds of things. So it starts the dialogue so that parents are being communicated with daily if there's an issue.
Right.
And as well as there are flags that come up with certain comments like, Johnny was bullied yesterday, didn't feel like coming to school. That will send an alert to our counselor or social worker, our attendance liaison, that there's a potential issue that we need to get to the bottom end. It requires a live person versus just the AI communication.
Gotcha. But the first, I guess the first contact is with AI to reach out to the family and just kind of confirm the absence, I guess, and then maybe hopefully the parents know.
Yes.
If they didn't know, surprise, and then they can follow up as well. But that's, I guess, how that would work.
Right.
And this attendance liaison, I guess, as they continue to maybe do their job and gather data, I imagine that will give you more insights than maybe into where else to maybe focus
Yes.
some of your efforts for attendance.
Absolutely. And we, you know, there's things that we just don't know. But some people are not forthcoming, but once we build those trusting relationships that we are here to help, it's not that you ditch school for 3 days in a row, you're going to detention, which totally defeats that attendance purpose, right?
Right,
So
right.
we're not old school anymore. We're really trying to come in. After COVID, you know, we've had to do things and think of things different in a different way. You know, we're different after COVID.
Sure.
And so a lot of families realized in their rationale that, well, kids don't need to go to school. But look at our graduation rate, look at our performance, and no amount of money from federal programs or from our general obligation, no amount of money is going to make an impact unless we have students in our buildings. So that's the goal.
Right. And I guess the other thing is having students who maybe want to be in your buildings.
Yes.
That's another big part of this, right? Is just the perception and the whole idea of wanting to be engaged in school and come to school. And so that's an important thing as well. Ms. Spencer, your thoughts on obviously improving attendance and putting more resources, I guess, into this skill and this app, I guess, to reach out to these parents and let them know what's going on with their child and finding a reason why they're not there in school?
Yeah, communication is key. And, I was a principal for a very long time, and you have to build those relationships with families. And when the child's not coming to school, you need to have a conversation. You also need to have a conversation with staff and say, make sure that this is a place where the child wants to come. I mean, kids are spending a lot of time in school, and if they don't feel safe and they don't feel comfortable, they may not come. So I know at Blanco we did a lot to support families. I know in all the schools we have people reaching out, making sure that, if maybe their car is broken down, maybe that's why they can't get their child to school.
Right.
Or maybe, dad had to take the car to work and they can't get the kid to school. So just really finding out about what's going on with the families. And our families are very gracious and very grateful when we reach out to them. But you have to have a relationship with your families and with your students. Otherwise, the kid will be out 10 days, they'll be dropped from the rolls, and then who knows where the child is. So
You don't want that.
no, we don't want that. We want them at school. We want them learning. If the child is not at school, they're not learning. So, they're learning something, I guess, at home, but we have talented teachers who are teaching. If they're not there, they miss the teaching that day. They miss the lesson that day. And, they might do makeup work, but it's not the same.
Right.
So, we did apply for this grant last year. They were actually in the midst of applying for it when I came on in June, but it's something that was important to them. So I just have to commend James and Julie for writing the grant. We were able to hire our attendance liaison with that money and purchase the app. It's called Edia. I'm not sure what it's called, but
EDIA.
Anyway, yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's just a good tool for schools and families because, like, if someone has an ortho appointment, for example, and they need a doctor's note, they take a picture of that doctor's note, goes to the office. The kid doesn't have to take the note in, gets lost in the car. Where's your doctor's note? You didn't bring it, so you get detention. None of that.
The dog doesn't eat it. It's
Yeah,
all
so-
electronic and good to go.
It's just quick and simple, and we have record of what happened. And so it has made our lives easier. So, and Bloomfield's good at that. We search for money. Like I wrote the math grant, which allowed us to get our math coordinator. The attendance grant. We have a lot of people in district office who are talented grant writers, and are good at getting extra money into our district so that we can support students. So
Yeah.
I'm proud of them. I'm proud of that.
Very good, very good. And Dr. Pierce, I would think that having this app to be able to kind of handle some of the initial contacts with families, as we mentioned, and then having that attendance liaison work on maybe the real chronic cases and things like to make sure a student doesn't fall through the cracks, that's a better use of that person's time, I would think, too.
Absolutely. The preliminary research provided by EDIA was that it can reduce front office workload in that regard by 80%.
Right.
So, and then we're getting valuable information and data that we can track by this system that will also reduce the workload in trying to find this data.
Sure.
And another thing I wanted to mention is we do have a very large geographical area.
Your district, yeah, true.
That we are required, to get kids to school. And so if a student misses a bus, that's plan A, and a lot of times there's not a plan B. And so that's another thing that, just trying to help families and instill the value of education.
Right. And getting them to that bus stop so
Yes.
that they don't miss the bus.
And it is a challenge. I rode the bus
Sure.
the first couple of months I was here. One of the bus rides is an hour long,
Right.
morning and afternoon. So we've got students who are on a bus theoretically for 2 hours a day.
Right.
And that's quite a bit.
Yeah, very true. Very true, and that's a good point. And just have a couple of minutes remaining this morning, both of you, but I think it seems like we're seeing schools are more of a center for resources. I know that Bloomfield has opened a community resource center, and maybe through this app having access to resources if there's a family that has car trouble or homelessness or other things like that. Is that something too that the school district is maybe getting involved with to try to connect families with resources? I know you can't build houses for people,
Right.
but providing these
Yes.
resources or connections for these families?
So we have a building that was generated before I got here, but it's called the Hub, and we have a family liaison that actually comes out of a Title I grant as well, who really does a phenomenal job of connecting with community resources. Coats for kids, food bags, shoes. I think it's called Soul for Souls. We get over 1,000 pairs of shoes in a year. The school supplies through Title I that they help organize, and these ladies really do a phenomenal job of community outreach. And
So there's a need being met.
yes,
in your
Melody and
district.
Bethany. Melody specifically knows everybody in Bloomfield, and
I
if we
might bring them
can,
next time.
Okay.
if we can't find something, we'll go to bat and get
People
what we
can
need.
go wash their clothes there, they can shower there, they can use the
Right.
computer there. If they have to make an appointment, but all of those resources are available to our
Nice.
community.
And that's relatively new. Last
Yeah, it's
three
been
or
about
2 or 3
3
years?
years. Mhm.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Very good. Well,
It's a tremendous asset to our community.
no kidding. Very true. Well, and it's being used, and that's
Yes.
great. So very good. Well, I'm afraid to say we are out of time, but I thank you both for coming in this morning and giving us an update on Bloomfield Schools here in the new year. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
Ms. Spencer,
us.
thank you for being here. Dr. Pierce, thank you for coming in.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you both very much. My guests this morning with me here on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.